everyone. So I'm trying to find the best, most versatile, put it on everything type of hot sauce. This video is the intro to the series where the goal is to find the most versatile, readily available grocery store variety hot sauce. Now I'm going to taste all these hot sauces by themselves right now so I can provide some tasting notes and figure out what the heat levels are. But I'm not going to score this portion. The portion that's going to be scored is going to be based on how well each of these sauces pairs with different cuisines. I've separated them into three categories. We have Southeast Asian, Mexican, and Louisiana style hot sauces here. So for each food type, each sauce will be given up to 10 points. And at the end of all the taste tests, the sauce in each category with the most number of points will be the winner of that category. After all that, we're going to compare the three winners and see which one is the overall most versatile hot sauce. So let's dive right in. Now to judge the heat levels, I'm going to assign each hot sauce 0 out of 10, or 0 to 10 rather. 0 being no heat detected at all, and a 10 being borderline unbearable, kind of right before that point where I really need to find some milk or ice cream or something to calm down the heat a little bit. And for a little frame of reference, for me, eating a fresh orange habanero is probably around a 7.5 or an 8. So we're going to start with the Louisiana style hot sauces because I feel like these have the least number of ingredients or spices in it to keep my palate as clear as possible. I'm going to have a little water in between each sauce as well. So we're going to start with the Frank's Red Hot here. Ingredients for all the Louisiana hot sauces are going to be pretty much the same, some slight variation. So the Frank's Red Hot is aged cayenne red peppers, distilled vinegar, water, salt, and garlic powder. A fresh spoon here. I'm going to do a full spoon of each of these. All right. So, very vinegary, as you would expect for any Louisiana style hot sauce. Almost more puckering a little bit. Taste the peppers a little bit. Typical cayenne flavor. Definitely taste the garlic. And it's salty. Saltier than I was expecting. For heat, I'd say a 1. I'm going to just record that here. So Frank's Red Hot, say a 1. Barely feel anything. Building a little bit, but I wouldn't say more than a 1 right now. So for that heat level, I can eat an unlimited amount and it wouldn't bother me. Next, we have Trapeze Red Devil. Ingredients: distilled vinegar, aged cayenne peppers, salt, guar gum, xanthan gum, and ascorbic acid to preserve freshness, it says. I'm going to get a new spoon here. Not as tart, but less salty as well. Pretty much what you'd expect with the ingredients listed. It doesn't have that garlic flavor, but you do get that nice pepper flavor. So I do taste the pepper, the cayenne pepper flavor, a little more prominent in this, in the Red Devil than the Frank's. The Frank's was a little peppery, but garlic really comes through and much more vinegar forward. So next we have the Louisiana Brand Louisiana hot sauce. Heat level for the Trapeze Red Devil. Honestly, didn't feel anything. I think that's a 0 for me. And again, everyone's gonna have different perceptions of heat level. So I gave the frame of reference kind of what was a 7.5 or an 8 for me. It was a fresh habanero. If that's like a 10 or above for you, then these might sit at like a 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. The sauce just to be a little bit thinner. Definitely much more prominent pepper flavor. Ingredients on this is aged peppers, distilled vinegar, salt. About the same saltiness as the Red Devil, not as salty as the Frank's. Really great flavor though. Considering there's no spices or seasonings in here, must be the flavor of the aged peppers. When they say aged peppers, generally means that it's a fermented pepper mash before they make it into sauce. It actually has a pretty good depth of flavor, some complexity there. Great flavor profile there. Heat is a 1. A little rinse. Next we have Crystal hot sauce. Ingredients, again, aged red cayenne peppers, distilled vinegar, salt. So same ingredients list there. So it almost tastes a little fruity. When you get a hint of like citrus or something. You know, all these flavors must be coming from the peppers because there's nothing else in there. Little more acidic than these two. Not quite as much as the Frank's. Not as salty, about the same as these. Pretty good pepper flavor. Yeah, pretty basic stuff. Heat, I'd say that's a 1. Tabasco. This is the original. Right. Noticeably more heat than the first 4. As expected with Louisiana sauces, these are all very vinegar forward. You could taste the difference in peppers. I think before this I've never had Louisiana style hot sauces. Aren't really my go-to, and I've definitely never had them side by side. In my head they were always all the same. Tasting them side by side, you do taste pretty significant differences between the two. I wouldn't say significant, noticeable differences between all of them, but particularly the Tabasco, which uses aged Tabasco peppers versus cayenne peppers. Definitely a completely different flavor profile. Once you get past that initial hit of the vinegar, very different flavor profile. Ingredients here is distilled vinegar, red pepper, salt. And we know that they use Tabasco peppers, obviously, and they actually ferment them for 3 years in wooden barrels, in oak barrels, before they make it into the sauce. So that fermentation, the variety of pepper, and the aging it in the oak barrels definitely gives it a different flavor profile there. Heat on that, I'd say, is a 3. All right, so next we're gonna move to the Mexican style hot sauces. First we have the Cholula brand hot sauce, and that's just their basic original red hot sauce. Ingredients is water, peppers, they have it listed as arbol and piquin peppers, salt, vinegar, garlic powder, spices, and xanthan gum. Right. Still pretty tart. It's still pretty vinegar forward. It's definitely still that kind of initial tartness. Flavor profile once you get past that vinegariness is completely different. Really taste the spices in there. Pretty reminiscent of what you would think of in terms of like chili powder or like taco meat, ground taco meat, that sort of flavor profile. Doesn't list the exact spices, but it definitely has that kind of Mexican cuisine type of flavor profile. Heat, probably a 2. Not as hot as the Tabasco, but hotter than the other Louisiana sauces. Next is the Tapatio Salsa Picante. The ingredients are water, red peppers, salt, spices, garlic, acetic acid, xanthan gum, and sodium benzoate as a preservative. Let me get a little rinse here. Definitely still the vinegar right up front. This one's noticeably hotter than the Cholula. Flavor profile is a little different too. I'm not an expert or connoisseur in Mexican cuisine, but to me that still has that Mexican flavor profile, but it's pretty different than this one. I'd say this one's a little smokier, maybe. Yeah, definitely a different set of spices in here, but quite pleasant. Heat on that. Trying to think, comparing it to the Tabasco, it's probably a little bit spicier than the Tabasco. Trying not to do half points here. I'd say that's probably a 3.5. I'm trying to avoid the half points. I'm gonna go with 4 on that. Next is the Yuka Teco. The ingredients on that are water, habanero peppers, tomato, salt, spices, acetic acid, xanthan gum, citric acid, and sodium benzoate. So this one is habanero based. I guess this is going to be the spiciest one of the Mexican peppers, if not for all of them. So let's see how that goes. Great habanero flavor. Not as tart or vinegary right up front. I like it because these two, the spice profile, the spices, the seasoning profile, is what you really taste. This one really highlights the flavor of the habanero. Really taste the pepper. If you're familiar with that kind of distinct chinense pepper type flavor, very strong here. So if you like habanero flavor, this has it in spades. If you don't like habanero flavor, you're probably not going to like this sauce at all, because that's definitely tastes some seasoning and spices, but very much that habanero flavor is very prominent. Quite like that. Definitely hotter than the rest. Not as hot as I was expecting though. So that's probably a 5. Right. Next is the Valentina Salsa Picante. Now I tried to get kind of the originals of all of them. This one is actually the extra hot. They have a different one that's the original. This one's supposed to be hotter, but I actually couldn't find that one anywhere. I looked online a couple of places, went to a few local supermarkets, and everyone carried the extra hot. So the ingredients here is water, chili, peppers, vinegar, salt, spices, and sodium benzoate. So you can see all these sauces are pretty similar in ingredients. This one's definitely got a smoother consistency. I think this one's the most tart, most vinegar forward out of the 4 Mexican sauces. Not as much as the Louisiana ones. I don't know if it's just palate fatigue, but I'm not getting a whole lot of flavor. I don't really taste too many different seasonings or spices. It's got a decent amount of heat to it, actually. Not a whole lot of pepper flavor either. I'm getting vinegar, I'm getting some heat. Can't really pick out what the spices are. I'm going to do a little bit more on this one. So I'm pretty much just getting saltiness, vinegar, and heat. Do a little smaller one. Anyway, getting some of the Mexican seasoning flavor. Not as much as these two. This one was more just very pepper flavor forward. So I'm getting a little bit of seasoning, but it's probably a good one if you just want to add a little acidity, a little heat, but not much flavor. You don't want to alter the flavor of the dish too much. That might be a good one. Heat, I'd say, it's hard not to do half points, because I'd say this is dead in the middle between the Tapatio and the Yuka Teco. So I'm gonna have to break my rule and go with a 4.5 on that one. Right, now I'm gonna go into the Southeast Asian style hot sauces. This first one I grew up with, I'm very familiar with it. Kind of find it all over the world now. It's the Hoi Phong Foods brand Sriracha, also known as Rooster brand. Ingredients is chili, sugar, salt, garlic, acetic acid, potassium sorbate, sodium bisulfite as a preservative, and xanthan gum. All right, so across all cuisines, hot sauce ingredients are pretty much the same. Seasonings different, different ratios, etc. Let me clean my mouth out a little bit more. Still taste the Mexican spices quite a bit. that's phenomenal. Might be biased because I had this my whole life, but I really do enjoy that. Off the bat, you get sweetness, not very tart, sweet and salty kind of right off the bat. Then right after that, you really get a big hit of garlic, very garlicky. Heat, I'd say probably, so that's probably a 5, about the same as the Yuka Teco. But yeah, it's definitely the sweetest of the sauces so far. Heat's building a little bit. Probably a 5. I wouldn't put it past a 5. Heavy garlic aftertaste. Right, so next is the Shark Brand Sriracha. So though both of these are called Sriracha, they're actually going to be pretty different. And this is a lot of people who from Southeast Asia don't really consider this a true Sriracha. This is made in the US, but it's made by a Vietnamese immigrant. This is a more traditional style Sriracha, and it's actually made in the Sriracha region of Thailand. It's going to be a little less spicy, probably a little sweeter. So the ingredients is chili, water, sugar, garlic, salt, vinegar, and sodium benzoate. So you can see the consistency is a little thinner. Definitely sweeter. Definitely a different kind of pepper too. It's not listed on the ingredients, but this one is made from red jalapeno peppers. This one definitely has a more Asian pepper type of flavor, if that makes any sense. Tastes like the peppers that, like the Thai chili peppers, the Thai bird peppers. The peppers are fermented too, but I'm getting a lot of fresh pepper taste. I still taste it in my mouth. Definitely sweeter, different, very, very different between the two. Not nearly as hot for sure. Not as much garlic either. Yeah, so it's sweeter, less garlicky, not as hot. Would be great for like spring rolls or something like that. For heat level, I'm gonna have to get another taste, especially coming off of this, which is one of the hotter ones on the table. Not a lot of heat. I'd say that's it's probably a 1 on the heat. Next, back to Rooster Brand Sambal Oelek. Ingredients we have here: chili, salt, acetic acid, potassium sorbate, and sodium bisulfite, and xanthan gum. Right. A little bit of acidity, but very, very pepper forward. Tastes like what you would expect just straight salted pepper mash to taste like. So if you're really looking for that fresh chili flavor, this will give it to you. Yeah, so no No spices or seasonings, it's just chili, salt, and acetic acid, which is basically vinegar. But that pepper flavor really comes through. Heat, it's probably about the same as the Sriracha, the Rooster Brand Sriracha, another 5. Yeah. So this is also Hoi Phong Foods, Rooster Brand. This is the chili garlic sauce. Looking at the different ingredients. Yeah, pretty much the exact same ingredients, but this one has garlic. Chili, salt, garlic, acetic acid, potassium sorbate, sodium bisulfite, and xanthan gum. Actually, not as similar as you would think. Like, I feel like if I took this and added a bunch of garlic to it, it wouldn't taste like this. It would still taste different. It's a different flavor profile. That fresh pepper flavor isn't nearly as prominent in this. There's no sugar in this, but must be from the peppers, but this tastes a little sweeter. Heat level is about the same. I'd give that a 5 as well. You taste the garlic, but different than the way you taste the garlic here. It's interesting. It's almost like this kind of sits like right in between there in terms of pepper flavor and garlic. This one's obviously sweeter. It might have to do with why you perceive the garlic differently. But yeah, very good flavor. You got some pepper flavor, not as strong as that, but very garlicky, as you'd expect from the name, chili garlic sauce. So let me just sort these by heat. All right, so spiciest, we have a 4-way tie for the hottest sauces here. That's going to be the Rooster Brand Sriracha, Rooster Brand Sambal, Rooster Brand Garlic Sauce, and the Yuka Teco. Followed closely by the Valentina with a 4.5. So these were all 5. This is a 4.5. Tapatio got a 4. Tabasco got a 3. Cholula was a 2. And then the rest of them were a 1, except the Red Devil, which was a 0. I didn't detect heat at all there. So there you have it. So keep an eye on the video description below. As we upload more videos with actual taste tests with a variety of different foods, we'll put the links over there. And if you have any questions or if there's any foods you'd like to see us try it with or any other sauces, please leave a comment. And please like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And thanks for watching.